Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're taking a look at the new Team Deathmatch version of Dragon Valley that has recently been made available in CTE. You might be looking at this thinking, doesn't this look a little familiar? I kind of remember a map from Battlefield 3, perhaps Noshar Canals, lovingly nicknamed Noshar Canals, and it was the most popular Team Deathmatch map to play on Battlefield 3. You can still load up Battlefield 3 and find plenty of full TDM matches being played on this map, and it's gone through some pretty big changes for Battlefield 4. I have to say, visually speaking, the map doesn't look that great. I mean, maybe it's just my opinion, but everything's just kind of blue and gray. The original map at least had a little bit more interesting color scheme. Now, to be fair, this is the first iteration of the map, and I'm sure they just slapped a bunch of textures on things so that we weren't playing literally a white box version of the map. Remembering back to the community map project, the jungle didn't look that great on its first run through, but now it looks amazing. So I expect a lot of visual improvements with this map as the testing goes on. Now, when I first loaded into this map on CTE, I was really excited because not only is this one of my favorite TDM maps from Battlefield 3, giving the first place medal to Karg Island, but Battlefield 4 doesn't really have that many good TDM maps. In fact, most of them really lack lanes and pathing and frankly inhibit a lot of the tactical gameplay that I enjoyed from Battlefield 3, where I could really control my engagements based on the paths I took through the map and back up and get more cover, and just not getting as much of that as I wanted in Battlefield 4. So loading this up for the first time was really exciting because it's the first map from Battlefield 3 that's getting translated into BF4 that exhibits those good infantry combat characteristics. We've gotten a few translations before, but none like Noshar Canals, which is just known for having that fast-paced, close-quarter action, but also tactical action because of all the lanes and pathing. Now, in my first playthrough of the map, I certainly recognized the layout of the map. I recognized all the key landmarks and stuff, but also noticed a lot of changes. I mean, I've sunk so many hours into the Battlefield 3 version of this map that if any box is out of place, I'm going to know it right away. And there was a lot changed. I mean, it's clear that they're sort of taking another pass at this, trying to, I guess, fix things with the first map, although the first map really had very few areas that I would say needed fixing other than the crane camping, and there was a few boxes that allowed for kind of some dirty head glitching spot, but other than that, I thought the map itself was relatively perfect. So I was a bit surprised to see so many changes with the positioning of boxes and stuff, not to mention the container pathing in the center of the map has changed up a bit too, and I really love the original pathing. I don't know if I would say that the new pathing is any better than it was before. Now, after I played a few rounds, I kept getting this weird feeling like everything was just different. It didn't feel like Noshar Canals to me. I mean, it looked like Noshar Canals, and I had a few firefights that reminded me of the same firefights I had in Noshar Canals, but something was off and I couldn't quite place it at first, and then I kind of noticed that everything was just a lot slower and it was harder for me to cross roads than it was before, and I'm thinking, like, why would it be harder now considering that the damage model is lower than it was before? I should have an easier time crossing roads. Oh wait, it seems like the roads are actually a lot wider than they used to be. So I kind of took an overhead screen grab here of the actual map and I overlaid the old Noshar Canals over it. Now, what I found is that not only is the new Noshar Canal significantly different, but if I actually sliced up the map like I do here, the roads have been expanded significantly. And I'm not really sure why DICE did this, because if you're trying to make a map bigger to facilitate more players better, they're not going to hang out in the middle of the roads. They're all going to clump up in the same areas, the same spots of cover that they did before. They're just going to have a much harder time crossing roads now. So what this has done is it's slowed down the gameplay because people can't move from cover to cover as quickly, and it's also just increased the overall size of the map, so it takes longer to get from one side of the map to the other. I'm not really sure why they wanted to slow down the gameplay so much, since that's really the original appeal of the map, is the extremely fast-paced close-quarter action that you can get into. And if you don't want to be in that super close-quarter action, you can work on the perimeter of the map and sort of watch your flanks and play a little bit more tactically and still have a lot of fun that way and still get a lot of kills. So things have changed up quite a bit. Everything's slower, the angles are different, and the upper part that used to be the train yard, which is now a truck yard, and it looks really ugly. I hope they do a lot of work to make it look better, but that place is a lot higher now. The stairs getting up to them take longer to get up those stairs, and also the flanking route that took you under the train bridge before has been completely lengthened and changed up. So if you want to try and flank around that way, it's going to take you a lot longer, and it's going to be a lot easier to thwart your flanking attempts. I kind of understand why somebody might want to get rid of the slope that was in there initially, because it allowed you to spawn camp a little bit, but I still think that the increased flanking route and the increased timing of everything is just too much, to the point where it just slows down the gameplay and gives you less opportunity to get the upper hand on somebody or surprise somebody. Now, because I was feeling a little bit disappointed with this when I first played it, I went back to Battlefield 3 just to make sure I wasn't imagining things, you know, imagining the gameplay somehow being different, and sure enough, it played out faster on Battlefield 3. I enjoyed it more. Granted, the damage model is different in Battlefield 3, and a lot of the game mechanics are different, so it does allow you to kill people faster in that game, but at the same time, it was still the moving around the map and everything that I was just enjoying so much more in BF3. So I guess I just don't really agree with all the changes that they've made to the map. It is in a way a spiritual successor to Noshar Canals, because a lot of the landmarks are the same, but they've changed up many of the really key and important pathing areas in, I guess, an attempt to improve the map, but in my opinion, I don't think it does. And also the wider streets, I don't understand what the point of that is. I guess the one obvious area of this map that they have made better is the fact that you can't crane camp anymore, and that, in my book, is just a massive, massive improvement. Unfortunately, an easy fix in Battlefield 3, all they had to do was turn off spawn beacon parachuting, but they never did, because I guess people got used to it or something, but every single server I ever played in, they had admins that would just kick you if you camped on the crane. So that's no longer in the game, so that is an improvement. And again, I mentioned there were some head glitch boxes on the original map that were just a little bit too overpowered. Those are no longer in the game, so those two things are improved, but overall I just don't know why they cut up the map so significantly and really changed the fundamental flow of the gameplay, because in my book it doesn't really represent the things that I liked most about Noshar Canals. All that being said, the layout of the map is still pretty solid, so it will be a fun infantry-only game mode, and the map is still in its very early stages of development, and the developers want feedback on it. So I guess this is my feedback. I kind of wish it played more like the original Noshar Canals. I don't think it needs all that extra space, especially the extra space on the higher level. There's just way too much room back there, and it divides the action, divides the battle too much, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my feedback. What's your guys' feedback? You can all hop onto the CTE right now, play it for yourself, give your feedback, and you should, honestly. Everybody should have a say in what they want going on with this map. The community map project has turned out really well so far. Lots of good feedback in that map, and it's been really fun to watch the development. So hopefully this one will go through some pretty significant changes as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.